Real quick guys, if you guys wouldn't mind, please be sure to consider going down your item shop and typing in BAY for your supported creator code, BEY, and then clicking accept. This will support me greatly and it will not cost you anything, so please be sure to do this, and let's get right into the video. Hey, what's up guys? Before I start this video, I just want to mention real quick that I made a brand new channel where I'm going to be uploading a lot of vlogs, funny videos, and just videos about me, and not videos related to Fortnite, but more entertaining and interesting things about my life in general. You guys should be seeing something in the top right corner right now. Please be sure to go subscribe to this channel before you watch this video. And yeah guys, that's all, so let's get right into this video and I'll see you guys on my other channel. So if you guys are watching this video, you're basically trying to improve your aim, and this could be because you just got into a game where you realized that your aim wasn't too good, or you made a few mistakes that made you criticize your aim a lot. In this video today, I'll be showing you guys 8 of the best aiming tips that I have found to help me. As you guys will see throughout this entire video, my aim is very good, if I would say so myself, and you guys will see throughout the entirety of this video, so make sure you guys watch it till the end, hear out all the tips, and watch my gameplay and basically see that these tips do work. For the first tip, with the removal of legacy, a lot of you guys think that left trigger spam isn't a thing anymore, or that it doesn't work. Well, the truth to this is that although left trigger doesn't lock on to your opponents anymore, and it doesn't basically give you guys free aimbot, what it does do instead is it tightens your bloom, it makes your shots much more accurate, and it also assists you guys in more fine, accurate shots because of the fact that your ADS sensitivity slows down your aim. So my first tip is every single time you shoot, before you shoot, make sure you guys ADS and use your left trigger to zoom in on your opponent and make your shots more accurate by basically tracking them and following them with this left trigger option. Even if your aim is already on them, just holding this down or quickly pumping it before you shoot will make your bloom much better, and it will make your shot do a lot more damage instead of getting those 30 damage pump shots. Now for tip number 2, at the same time, a lot of times you won't be on the ground, so you won't be able to ADS. In these situations, what you need to do is you need to start utilizing the left analog stick, because the left analog stick is for movement, but it is also for fine accuracy. Yes, using your right analog stick is what you use to turn, but if you want to make your aiming as good as possible and you want to take it to the next level, you must use your movement in order to aid with your aiming. And what a lot of pro players do, and something that I do myself, is if I need to basically make fine adjustments to my aim, or I need to move it just a little bit to the left, right, up or down, or to the sides to make it more accurate, I will do so with my left analog stick instead of using my right analog stick, because this is much more accurate, and it is something that I see many people not doing because they don't understand how effective it can be. For tip number 3, while you're aiming, what you guys need to start doing is actively focusing on placing your crosshairs on the midline of your opponent's body. What this means is instead of just trying to hit your opponent, you need to try to get that center dot in the middle of your screen as close to the center of your opponent's body as possible. This will help you guys hit 200 pumps, hit higher damage shots, and be more consistent overall with your aiming instead of hitting those low damage shots that annoy you. For tip number 4, this has more to do with your sensitivity, and what this has to do with mainly is your dead zones. A lot of you guys are going to be playing on higher dead zones, and what I mean by higher dead zones is anything above 15 dead zone. You guys do not want to play on anything higher than this, because a dead zone effectively decreases the radius at which you can aim with, and what this means is you're giving yourself less room to aim with. By lowering your dead zone, you're giving yourself more controller analog stick to work with when you're aiming, and by doing this, you're giving yourself the ability to aim more accurately and have more free aiming in many different scenarios. Because if you're playing on a high dead zone, you won't be able to have fine aiming that is much slower and more short movements, because of the fact that your analog stick simply won't work at that radius. So what I suggest doing is keeping your dead zones below 10, as low as you possibly can go without getting stick drift. Now even if you guys get stick drift at 10, consider keeping it there, because stick drift will help with aim assist if you're playing on linear. If you're playing on exponential, it's a little bit different, so just try to keep it as low as you can without getting drift. Tip number 5 is going to be more geared towards your AR and SMG aim. I know for a fact a lot of you guys see these crazy videos of controller players absolutely lasering people and just dominating them with their ARs and their SMGs, and I know that a lot of you guys are going to be wondering how to do this. This is a certain skill, and it's a certain tip that not a lot of people know, and it's the reason that so many controller players are so effective on their AR shots. And a part of the reason is because their ADS sensitivities are very low. Having lower ADS sensitivity gives them the ability to track easily, and it makes it much easier for them to hit high damage, crazy damage shots that will absolutely dominate and destroy their opponents while they're in the air or while they're just being tracked by their AR. The other trick, which I mentioned a little bit before in this video, is basically that they use their movement. If their opponent is flying towards the left, instead of moving their right analog stick a lot, what they'll do is they'll just make the movement with their body and move towards the left while also shooting. This will make your AR shots much more accurate, and as you guys can see in this clip right here, I use my right analog stick, but I do it very, very lightly and very gently because the fact that my ADS sensitivity is low. And a lot of other times in this video, what you guys will see is that I'll be absolutely lasering people with the AR because I'm using my movement more than my right analog stick, just like you saw before in that last clip. Now for tip number 6, I know a lot of you guys struggle with consistency in your aiming. One day you get on and you're absolutely cracked and hitting all of your shots, and the next day for some random reason you can't hit your shots and your aiming just feels awkward. No matter what you do, your consistency lacks and you can't always play the way that you played the day before or the day after. So in order to counter this, what I suggest doing is for all of you guys to start doing aim training and practicing your aim and warming up. Here is an amazing map for aim training. The code is 6056-6077-9955. This aim training map is amazing for controller and console players because it does not have aim assist while you're training your aim. And when you don't have aim assist when you're warming up, what it does is it makes your aim much better when you do play with aim assist. So I do suggest doing this map in order to warm up and practice every single day when you get on. But here's the important part. After you do this aim training map, hop into a creative play lobby with random opponents. Creative play lobbies are amazing for making your shots more accurate and for playing better when it comes to your aim because you're playing against random opponents and you're playing against opponents that will play different, move different, and aim different. And this natural aiming that you will find practicing in these creative play lobbies is much better than any aim training map just because of the fact that it's so natural and it gives you so much distinction and so many different variables that are very similar to exactly how you will be playing in a normal match. For tip number 7, I have a very advanced trick that is very easy to do, but something that is incredibly OP, and you just saw me do it. What this is strafing, using your movement to avoid taking shots by your opponent and basically throwing them off while also using it to basically improve your aim. And what you guys just saw me doing right there not only made my shots more accurate, but it also made my opponents miss a ton of their shots. And if I wasn't strafing in that scenario, I would not have gotten away with being able to eliminate all those guys with just an AR when some of them had shotguns, some of them had way better weapons than me, and some of them had even more health than me. So strafing is very important, and here's how you basically do it. When you strafe, you want to spam your crouch button, and you also want to move left and right very fast repeatedly. What strafing does is it basically makes your aim and your bloom less while also making it harder for your opponents to move. And yes, that sounds weird because you're moving more but it makes your bloom less. This is basically a trick that I found from Mongrel, and it's something that Mongrel and many EU pros like Benji Fishy have been doing for months before this season, back in season 8 and season 7, and to this date they are still extremely effective and very underrated ways to make your aim more accurate. Now my 8th and final tip is probably one of the most important tips in this video, not because it necessarily helps your aim the most, but because it does the most damage utilizing your aim. And what this is to play more sneaky. You guys need to start being more quiet. You need to move around corners and sneak up on your opponents and shoot them before they shoot you. Getting pre-fight damage on your opponents before they even start looking towards you is one of the easiest and one of the best ways to do as much damage as you possibly can with your aim, and it will help your aim a lot because when you're under zero pressure and your opponent is not shooting you back and you don't have all of those damage marker distractions flying across your screen and you don't have all that pressure of being in a fight on you, your aim not only improves, but it also does a lot more damage because you're not aiming as shaky, you're focusing solely on your aiming and you're not focusing on building, editing, or anything like that, and the only thing on your mind is just aiming on your opponent and doing as much damage as possible. And yeah, guys, that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed and that this helps you guys out. Please be sure to go subscribe to my second channel and to this channel, and I will see you guys in the next one.